Hearties. Welcome to the Hearties hotline. And boy, have we got a treat for you today. He has been everybody's favorite businessman. He's even played a judge, but he's not playing a judge here. It's still a mystery, but please welcome Mr. Mark Brandon. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming on. We are so excited about your involvement in season 10, and we know that there are. Yeah, I bet you are. I bet there are a lot of things that are still very hush hush. I'm betting that your character, you can't reveal it, can you?
I'm sorry, I can't, but I can tell you he's important.
Oh, he's important. Okay. He's important. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, this is just not a walk on, hi, how you doing, and have a nice day. It's some pretty serious involvement with the characters.
And multiple episodes, yes.
Yeah, episode 9 is the introduction of my character, and episode 10 is when the fun begins.
Wow, episode 10 is where the fun begins. That's
yes.
Wow. I sense a cliffhanger.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that I'm just trying to preserve my career.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair.
Well, you know something? It's like the nice thing about it. It's a gentleman's agreement, so to speak, with When Calls the Heart. They just Aaron asked me personally, and Mike Magnuson, the producer, asked me personally not to publish anything, reveal anything. I mean, I've worked in shows like Warner Brothers and the CW where you have to sign documents.
Right.
And if you so much as peep a syllable, you can get hung.
I bet you can.
I can see their point. I mean, I produced a few things myself, and I know that I wouldn't want people just, going off on social media and just saying, oh, well, the butler did it, That's all they're trying to prevent.
Right.
They don't want to wreck it for their viewers. People want to tune in to find out how things turn out. And so I totally empathize with that. I totally understand that. So I respect it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So first question, now that you've been in the world of When Calls the Heart, do you...
it's a great world. I love it. I hope they ask me back for season 11.
That would definitely be something, because when you can be a recurring character in 2 seasons, you know that you are a permanent fixture in the world. So
yes, more interviews.
More interviews. I told you, we'll have you on anytime. What do you think was your favorite set?
Favorite set on the show?
What's your favorite set on the show?
Ooh.
Where did you enjoy working the most?
I think I'm kind of straying into troubled territory here. There were 3 areas that I liked working the most.
Okay.
I mean, it's no secret that I was in the saloon because I sent a newspaper, a picture of the newspaper, and
I remember.
It was cute to see everybody's, trying to surmise what was going on. Oh, it's this. No, it's that. It was so cute. I enjoyed working in the saloon very much. Yeah.
All right.
Pretty much everybody goes there. So that's, I think you're safe.
Okay.
Even school children went in the saloon from time to time. So I don't think this is top secret territory.
Yeah.
No, okay.
Well, and that's what I was just going to say is the saloon is a gathering place. So if you were in the saloon, then that's a very big potential for a lot of involvement for big groups.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in this particular thing there was a lot of involvement.
A lot of that. Okay.
I can see it. I can hear your wheels going around.
Hear the wheels.
We have a lot of wheels.
Yeah. And like I said, I would just absolutely love to just pour forth all the things that I did and enjoyed doing, and the actors I enjoyed working with, if I could. I really do. I really, really enjoyed, working with well, Chris McNally again. I'd worked with him before in a Hallmark movie, so it was really, really nice. The familiarity is wonderful. My very first day, I walk in and Chris and Kevin are in the makeup department in their chairs, and they went, "Hi." I said, "Hey." It's the familiarity is nice. I mean, when you can work in this industry and you know people, it's a real joy.
Well, and you've had a lot of roles in movies with other When Calls the Heart stars, like you said, with Kevin, with him, but also you were in a Kevin Smith movie years ago as well. And many other people that weren't in season 10 with you, but that have been on When Calls the Heart. It seems like there were just so many crossovers when I was looking over that. Lachlan and Marcus Rosner. So definitely.
Yeah, I've worked with Marcus a couple of times. Yeah.
So, and they're both we're big fans.
Lachlan Monroe, you said too, right, Sarah?
I did not say that, but is he on one of these?
Pretty sure you've worked with Lachlan, isn't that right, Mark?
Oh, I worked with him on Riverdale.
Okay, yeah. So
in fact, I think one of those days, I think was his birthday. No. It was his birthday when I worked with him on All Yours, a Hallmark romantic comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, it was it was his birthday. I remember because we took a picture together. And I thought, hey, here we've known each other for years. Let's take a picture. And here was his birthday. It worked out fine. One thing I remember about Lachlan, besides being a real strong actor and a real nice guy, is I once asked him on Riverdale. I said, "Are you the killer?" And he just immediately goes, I'll never forget this. He goes, "Mark, I have no idea." And that, what that told me? It told me that, writers play it pretty close. They just, kind of go by the seat of their pants, episode to episode sometimes.
Right.
Yeah, because if a cast regular could not tell me whether or not he knew he was going to turn out to be the killer, then, well, he doesn't have too many scripts ahead, that's for sure. And that's what that told me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. When Calls the Heart did that with the triangle. They didn't know.
Love triangle.
They did the love triangle with Elizabeth and Lucas and Nathan, and that went for 3 years, and they didn't know until the 3rd year who they were going to go with.
Yeah, that's interesting, because when I was in scenes with Nathan, Elizabeth, and Lucas, I noticed Nathan's sort of, I don't know, kind of that longing stare he'd have in some of the scenes. And I picked up on the relationship right away, not having seen much of the show at all. I could tell it was a delightful character choice. I really enjoyed seeing that. It was very revealing for me, and it kind of helped me a little bit.
Yeah, he has some good nuances that you can pick up on.
Yeah.
Kevin's good at the nuances, and you're seeing it firsthand. But if you can pick up on that without having watched very much, then you're all doing your job right.
Oh, he's totally doing it. I mean, I could see that tenderness in his eyes when he'd look at her. I thought, ooh, wow, that's cool. I mean, that's the joy I have in acting, when I'm picking up vibes that are just as real as if they were, in real life.
Yeah.
When you see that and feel that, you go, ooh, wow, that's neat. That's what this art is all about, this craft.
Boy, is it ever.
Here's a question. You said you haven't seen a lot of the show before. So when you found out you were going to be cast, what did you do to learn about the show?
I went on YouTube immediately. I started watching clips.
There we go.
Yeah.
Trying to find out about storylines that related to you, or just in general the show, or
no, I think if you're a conscientious actor, if you feel responsible for what you're doing, which I really, really do strongly, I want to see the timbre of the show, or the tone. I want to see, the color, the lighting, how everyone talks, the pace, and just get a sense of it, so that by the time I show up, I can just meld into their world.
Right. Are there any scenes that stand out that you watched on YouTube that you particularly liked?
Well, I liked, of course, all of them because I think the acting is superb. But what really intrigued me, and I didn't think I'd be intrigued by it, was the that mining dispute and the mine investigation. I liked all that grittiness because it was dirty and dark and very different from the rest of the show.
Literally.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, yeah. And I think, was it Jack who was investigating that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jack, and also Bill, played by Jack Wagner. So you had the character of Jack, and then you had the real actor Jack playing Bill. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I really enjoyed working with Jack. In fact, at the end of our scene, we were standing by the side there, and I just said, "Hey, that's our first time working together." I said, "I really, really enjoyed that. Thank you," because he's someone who can just bite your nose off with his eyeballs, and I like that. We kind of went toe to toe. It was nice.
There was a scene right after the character of Jack had passed away. There was a scene where Bill goes up against a judge that he believes is dirty. And they showed it on a promo. They showed a little preview of it. And he actually throws him up against the wall and threatens him, saying, "These are people's lives. Now do your job." And they talked about it. He said, "I talked to the actor because he's kind of an older gentleman, and I wanted to make sure he would be okay physically if I threw him against the wall." And so it was really interesting to hear his process, even with something that looked that spontaneous. He still had a process. They still talked about it, and they choreographed it very carefully to make sure nobody got hurt.
Oh, terrific. Good. That's good.
So have you had,
because you get caught up in the excitement of it,
Boys, yes, that is 100% true.
Yes.
Have you had very much experience with period pieces, or have you mostly dealt in modern?
It's been mostly modern. I've been I've played so many executives. It's really a little funny story. I was doing a Hallmark a couple of years ago, and one of the crew members was getting a cup of coffee at the same time I was at the craft services table, and he just looked at me and said, "I don't think I've ever worked on a show where you weren't in a suit and tie." and you know what? I laughed because I felt suddenly naked, like, oh my God, I never realized that. It's funny. It's kind of a running gag. I talked to a few people on Facebook, some fans of some of the shows who will say, yeah. "Mark, did you wear your suit and tie today?" And I would say, "Of course." And I'd say things like, "My neighbors still think I'm an architect or a lawyer."
So now that you've had the period experience, what do you think? Period versus modern? Do you think you have a preference, or is it apples and oranges? What was your experience with doing period?
I am crazy for period work. I did a really huge budget commercial once for General Motors, where we were all in Western gear with Winchester rifles and horses, and oh man, it was amazing. I really enjoyed the experience. Never got over that. I thought, boy, if I could ever, get on a Western, I think I would really be in hog heaven. So well, yeah, I mean,
close.
The Heart's the closest thing to that, being 1820, and I thought, wow, it's kind of cool. That's not too far away from the frontier, the Old West.
Not too far.
No, there's lots of horses. Yeah.
Did you ride? Did your character ride horses in there?
Mm-mm.
Oh, you didn't get to ride. Bummer.
I didn't. Yeah.
Maybe season 11.
Let's put you on a horse
Sarah,
for season
from
11.
Your lips to God's ears.
Now, can you ride, or would you need to learn?
Oh no! My wife got me interested in horses a couple of years ago. So a couple times a year we'll go out. We rode in the Rocky Mountains last year.
Oh, fun!
Canada, yeah.
Oh,
So
Beautiful.
you will be one of those very rare actors who is actually telling the truth when he's asked about his writing experience.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll sprinkle in expert writer, Rodale or something, who knows?
There you go. All right. So with all of your pictures of props and everything, did you have a favorite with all of that, all of those antiques and all those vintage? What was your
I
favorite?
did, Chris McNally's office with all the antiques on the shelves.
Oh,
The
beautiful.
treasures, the treasure trove.
Yeah, I was so fascinated. I thought I've got to share this with the Hearties. They would really enjoy this.
Yeah. So
Because
did you have a favorite?
the shelves.
Just the whole
Bookshelf.
thing.
Oh, just all of it.
Yeah,
I was
and the reason being is because I thought, the camera doesn't stop, I don't think, long enough to get it all at once for a long period of time. I'm sure it's just, angles here and there.
Yes.
I was
You only
wondering if
catch
there was
pieces. You only catch pieces of it.
yeah, I was wondering if there was something specific that was your favorite, but it's the whole shelf, huh?
Yeah, it was the whole shelf, and there were a couple of antiques on it. I saw some old antiques, I think train parts or something that my eye was drawn to, because I do like history and antiques.
They do such a good job too, because that sounds like something that would interest Lucas.
Oh,
To
for
have
sure.
on the shelf. So there,
He's
it's
a businessman. He's got varied interests. He's an entrepreneur. Yeah, that totally made sense to me.
yeah.
Or is it toy train for little Jack?
Ooh, good
Or a
question.
toy train from his childhood.
Yeah, good question. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. These are all the fun things that we get to delve into. And okay, I am making a Hearties hotline promise right now. We will have you back when there are no more secrets. We'll have you
Okay.
back so we can just talk about it all.
Good, because I'd like to be able to say what I did and where I did my thing. What were the circumstances? What was it?
Oh, I want to hear it all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because it's fun. It's like, when you see a football play, you just see the ball snapped and then thrown and then, 5 yards, whatever they get, but you never see the days and weeks that go into moving that ball 5 yards the way they do.
Yeah.
It's an ostensibly simple thing to watch, but no one takes into consideration the strategy that goes into what you do. And that's the thing that I'd love to share, because it's the thing that I get very passionate about.
Oh, I'm trying to dampen myself down here because this is getting me all excited.
Okay, yeah. As a matter of fact, I had this discussion with Paul Green a few weeks ago when Paul and I were finishing up the show, Fit for Christmas.
Oh yes,
I noticed he had a book, an acting book, and I had read it too, and I thought, I told him, I said, that's one of the finest acting books ever written. And we started talking about it, and then we started talking about acting theory. And I said to Paul, I said, the one thing I like about your acting, Paul, is that you kind of skate on thin ice. You sort of live dangerously, like you're forgetting your lines, and you sort of feel to me like you are, and you're stumbling from thought to thought. And he lit up and said, yeah, that's my style. I love that.
okay.
And isn't that a neat process to share? And this is what impassions me,
Yeah.
Is that a right word? I don't know. But that's what I totally get excited about. And that is everyone's process. And it's like, I went out for lunch with this gal who played a nurse on General Hospital. And she says, Mark, I think there's as many methods as there are actors. And I went, holy cow, Olivia, you just hit it right on the button.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's true. And to be able to share what you bring to the table, it's fun. It's really a lot of fun. I met up with, on the way to makeup one morning, who was coming out of his trailer, but Viv Leacock. And Viv and I go way back.
Viv's awesome.
I know Viv's family. I know his brother very well, and we walked together to makeup and hair, and we had that very talk about yeah, I asked him, I said, so what's your superpower? What's your go-to in auditions? And we had a wonderful talk about process.
What was the book? What was the book that about acting?
It's called A
Sorry, Sarah.
Practical Handbook for the Actor, and I guarantee you'll never read anything better or simpler.
Practical Handbook for the Actor.
Yeah, and it's a practical handbook.
A
not
practical.
yeah, it's not the, because people, I tell, they look up the and they never find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Santa got something on my list for this year.
Yeah, Cammie, you can't go wrong. Believe me, I'm gonna probably read it for the 5th time pretty soon here, just simply because I've read it over the years repeatedly. It's a great little book.
Hey,
You know, who played Beth on the Waltons? Who was it?
Beth.
No, Mary Ellen.
Mary Ellen.
Yeah.
Judy Norton.
Judy Norton. Yeah, there you go. I had lunch once with Judy Norton, and we talked about that process that's in the book. And she says, "Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it." She said, because let's face it, she says, it's not brain surgery, and it should be presented simply. And I agreed 100%. It was a nice conversation.
Yeah, a lot of times acting, the process of it, a lot of people try to make it too complicated. It's not. Yes, it is complicated because you are becoming another person, but it's not as complicated as some people think it is. And there's a lot of simplified things that you can do, and it's
Absolutely.
lovely.
And you know what I tell myself very often, especially in close-ups, I always tell myself, I have little things that I tell myself like athletes do, and I will say, simple, honest, simple, honest, simple, honest. I'll repeat that over and over again until it's time to work. Just stay simple and honest, because I think that's the only access to, excuse me, you opening up and actually being seen by that camera, as opposed to just some surface photography.
Yeah. Huh.
That's
I have a feeling that watching you work would be incredibly fascinating.
Oh, thanks. You know where I got my first inspiration was. Did you ever remember an actress named Deborah Winger?
I know that name. I know.
Yeah, if you look her up, she was famous for a while. She did An Officer and a Gentleman.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and my very first line I ever uttered in a movie was with her in an old movie called Mike's Murder. It didn't get anywhere in the box office, but working with her taught me a heck of a lot. She taught me about that accessibility that is so rare in acting, because some actors get so filled with ideas that they want to execute one after another.
Yeah.
They're just full of ideas, and they're not really resonating or opening up and listening to you and empathizing with you. I mean, there was a moment that Paul and I had as father and son in Fit for Christmas, where we just got a little moist in the eyes talking to each other. It was that real, that simple, that honest, and we both hit that note together. It was great.
There's nothing like the feeling of having a partner in a scene and you're looking straight at them in the eye and knowing that they are just as committed to the scene or the part as you are.
It takes the labor out of it, and the look of labored look.
Yeah.
It takes the look of work away, and it becomes something ephemeral and just hard to describe sometimes.
Well, and you've worked with Paul a few other times as well.
Yes, I have.
So that's
good God, I think the last job I worked with him, I was chewing him out.
But still, it builds a rapport, I'm sure.
Well, if you go to my IMDb site, that very scene where I'm kind of chewing his nose off is right there, right on the IMDb
site. It's in your reel?
It's my demo reel, yeah.
Oh, nice. Then definitely we need to check it out.
yeah, do go there, because you'll see he and I kind of, I'm really I'm tearing a strip off of Lacey Chabert. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and Paul just happens to be there. He's her boss or something like that. I think it was called.
Oh,
Christmas,
yes.
Christmas Wish was the name.
Christmas.
Christmas Wish.
Mhm.
That's right.
Wish for Christmas.
Oh, Wish for Christmas.
Or a wish for, yeah.
They all blend together, those
They
titles.
do after a while.
They're almost out of movie titles. It's yeah.
I think they are, sometimes. Yeah, they all sort of blend together after a while. I've done more than 24 Hallmark movies, and there's kind of a sameness to some of them.
Yeah. So
But
while we're on this,
by the same token, I have to tell you, you might say sameness, but the thing that links them all together is they're family oriented.
Yeah.
You can watch these shows without worrying about what's coming around the corner with your family, and that makes me particularly proud, actually.
Even the mysteries. My young children love the murder mysteries.
Oh, good.
Gotta watch
And they're about as rough as Hallmark will get. The
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty good family fare.
so when I showed, my sons are too young, but when I showed your picture to my daughters, I said, "Does he look familiar?" And they said, yeah, we watch him on Hallmark a lot. I said, yeah, that's right. And
Wow.
I said, I'm going to meet him in January. And my 8-year-old says, "Can I come with you?"
How sweet is that?
She is a big fan of Hallmark through
She
you.
loves Hallmark.
We'll bring her along.
It's a school day.
Oh, it's a school day? That's right, it is. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. Okay, sorry.
And if I brought her, I'd have to bring all 4, and that would get very dicey.
Okay. Yeah.
So you mentioned you've done so many Hallmark movies, or that genre at least too, on other networks, but you've also done some of the mysteries, smaller parts, but you've been in some of the mysteries. You've done TV shows, drama, comedy. What would you choose if you could choose your favorite genre?
Wow.
What do you enjoy doing?
To be honest, I loved it all. I've loved everything I've done. It's the process that I love most. It doesn't matter what you're wearing or who you are. It's that incredible process that I was talking to Cammie about earlier of just opening up to another human being. That's a privilege. I feel so privileged to be able to do that and then make a living at it, for goodness sakes. But are you girls sitting down? I'm going to tell you what I'd go back to in a heartbeat.
Ooh,
Well, sitting.
One Calls the Heart.
Nice.
I'd go back in a heartbeat if I had the opportunity.
Oh man, everybody, did you hear that?
No,
That's so much fun.
Because I loved it that much. It's a period piece, and B, all the actors are terrific. The writing's good, and good God, they made me feel so welcome. I just, just working with everybody every day was just a joy.
I've heard that a lot, that just the crew and the cast and the whole set is just a very welcoming place and
very much
enjoyable work atmosphere.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a hard one. Favorite scene partner in the show?
Probably can't say that. Jeez.
No, we already know people that he was on screen with.
Again, it's tough because I liked them all. I liked, I thought Kevin was terrific, but Kevin was terrific. But the actor that I enjoyed going toe to toe with, of course, was Jack. But the actor who intrigues me the most as a performer is Chris. We did a number of scenes together, and I enjoyed every second of them.
I feel like we're just peeling an onion with him. I feel like every season he just has a whole new side to him, a whole new area that he's exploring as his character.
I think you're right, because even when I met Chris, when I did Sweetest Heart, I played his supervising doctor.
Right.
That's one of my favorite movies. Love that movie.
Yeah, we love that one.
Yeah. And is it Julia?
Julie.
Yeah, Julie. I've worked with her in Falling for Vermont, and
that was a great one.
She had that Deborah Winger quality, where you just feel like there's this invisible zipper in their forehead, and they just start to do this, and they just open up, and you see something special. You see the human being. I mean, I don't want to sound melodramatic, but you almost feel like you're talking to their soul, when it gets that real and delicate and honest. And I had that experience with, believe it or not, Liv Tyler.
Really?
Yeah, same effect. Liv and I did a commercial, excuse me, that was shot in Sydney, Australia. And we have my portions with her were shot in Vancouver, and I did the rest in Australia. But, excuse me. I told her she had that quality too. I said, I've seen you on screen, and you just open up, and it's an amazing thing. And I said, what's your process? If you don't mind my asking, because I do. I love to pick the brains of fellow actors and ask them, what flips their switches and gets their little engines going. And she said that for the most part, it was so funny. She says, well, I read the script, and right away, I get an idea how to play it. And she says, and then I get together with other actors who have notes on one side of their script and notes on the other, and highlighter and yellow and green and all that. And she says, and by the time we start, she goes, they're not even paying attention to me. And she said it kind of irritated, paying attention. And it was so funny because she's so cute that way. She's just absolutely so open. So her and Deborah Winger and Julie. What is Julie's last name again?
Gonzalo.
Gonzalo, yeah, Gonzalo. Yeah, she was the same way. Those are the three finest actors I think I've ever worked with outside of Treat Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine what it would have been like for you and Treat to go head to head.
Oh, we had lovely times over there on Chesapeake Shores. I played the mayor of Chesapeake Shores.
Right.
But we had some great stuff we shared.
Yeah, no, he's very talented.
Oh, quite. And just a joy as a human being. He's just so professional, so prepared.
That is fantastic.
The thing I like about Treat's work is he makes it look like he's not even trying. He makes it look so simple, and it's kind of a Mozart simple, that you put a lot of effort ahead of time so that you don't look like you're putting any effort in.
Right. Wow. This has been so fascinating. Yeah. All right, so you mentioned Fit for Christmas.
Yes.
So everybody watch or set your DVRs, because it's going to be Mark Brandon as dad and Paul Green as son. That'll be fun to watch.
I think there's only 4 scenes for me, but they're all meaningful. They're fun. They're good.
Okay. All right. So let's switch gears for a second.
Sure.
And
I feel like we've been all over the board here.
We have kind of. Let's talk about your recent project, Inventing the Christmas Prince.
Okay.
How did I know you were only in the one scene? It was kind of a cameo spot for you. Mm-hmm. So, but just tell us about the fun that you had on that set.
Well, I had worked with the director before, Paul Ziller, and he's fun to watch because he's so fastidious. I've got a picture of him on my cell phone, and he's just setting up every little thing on the desk to make sure it's just right for the camera angle. Uh-huh. And I love how thorough he is. He's not one of these directors that he says, "Okay, that's fine, let's go," Some directors are so fast that they just, you hear them saying, "Oh, it's good enough. Let's go."
Yeah.
Because of the budget and the time constraints.
Yeah.
Whereas Paul is, boy, he's just takes his time, and it's a good time that he takes. Everything is setting up and so creative. Yeah, there you go. And also Ronnie was just a delight. I've never met him before, and he's got to be one of the kindest, finest human beings I've met in a long time. Just really, just a special human being. I really enjoy talking to him. He has a great relationship with his mom. His mom's, really encourages him. She's a big fan, and he's moved up here to British Columbia. He's got a place now, and I was just so happy to chat with such a down-to-earth guy who's just so doggone good. My goodness, he was fun to watch.
Man, that's wonderful. Yeah, the first time we saw him, was it last year or the year before?
It was 2 years ago with Julie.
Yeah, he did a movie with Julie. It was a Christmas movie, and it was the first time we'd ever seen him.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. So yeah, it was fun seeing him again.
Isn't he intriguing? He's very creative.
Is.
Yeah, he's got what I would call chutzpah. He just sort of flies by the seat of his pants. I mean, he says the lines as they're written, but he's just one of those rare actors that when it comes out of him, it sounds like it's coming out for the very first time.
That's
I admire that.
A quality. That is a huge quality to have.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So it's no surprise he's as successful as he is.
Absolutely.
Okay, another hard one for you.
Sure, bring them on.
With all of these Hallmark films that you've done, can you pick a favorite? I think that look says it all.
Well, again, my default, and I hope I don't sound like a broken record, is that I love everything I do.
Right.
Every time I walk onto a set, I just look up into the sky and say, man, I am so grateful for this. Because as you know, it's not an easy life. I've waited 30 years to be able to say I make a living at this. Again, out of all the Hallmark things, I enjoyed the Chesapeake Shores, but I have to say, it comes down to Wind Calls the Heart. I just fell in love with everything about it.
Well, that's an answer that we all love on this program. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I thought you might, but what's neat is that we all share in that joy of something fresh and positive and uplifting. And I think that's part of the allure. And then you throw in the extras, the wonderful things, the fact that you get to wear period clothing, that's even more fun. And there's horses and buggies and buckboards, and it feels wonderful to be around that. Like I said, I'm a big history buff. That's the reason, my son and I will be in San Antonio in January. Right. Yeah, we're going to go see the Alamo and the missions there.
Oh, man. You're in for a treat.
I believe it. I can't wait. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite historical era that you just delve into?
Well, I am fond of the Civil War and the Wild West. Last year, my son and I spent an entire day from early morning to late at night in Tombstone, Arizona. And the next day went out horseback riding. I mean, it was just so superb to be out there, going through the saguaro cactus through Cochise County and looking around at all those mountains and know this is where the Apaches were and Doc Holliday and Wyatt Earp and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So if you had to pick something that wasn't a series, if you had to pick a movie, what would it be?
I rather enjoyed My Favorite Wedding.
Oh.
Now it's interesting that you say that, because I was looking for an in for bringing up one of my favorite episodes of Psych that you were in, which also was with Maggie Lawson.
Isn't that, and you want to hear something, it's even a smaller role than you think. Mel Damsky cast me and directed me in Psych, and he cast me and directed me in My Favorite Wedding.
Of course. Yeah. That is awesome.
And he's one of the fast directors. He's one of